Welcome, amazing agents from across the country. Thank you all for being here. Today is November 1st, post-Halloween, November 1st, 2017, and this is role play number 24. And a couple ground rules, as we were discussing. Nothing is out of bounds, off base. Nothing is that we can't go over here, but we would prefer that you try to keep it in the form of a role play. Tomorrow's call is more for an open forum. This is for places that you're getting stuck in your prospecting. If you run into a situation that's a little bit unusual, you don't know what to say. And like Chad said, if you have something that's working real well for you, please share that with the group. And in order to do that, somebody in this big group of 25, 30 people has to hit *6 and then hit 1. And just so you know, you're not on the hot seat. Put Chad on the hot seat. Maybe we should offer a reward, Chad, if they can stump you. What do you think? A new Mercedes or something? Would that make somebody participate? Come on, guys. We have nobody. We got about 30 people on the call. So someone who would like to actively role play with Chad, please hit *6 and then hit 1. Otherwise, the penalty, you got to listen to Chad and me just chat. Go ahead.
Yeah, you got to listen to us just talk to ourselves. So while somebody's working up the courage to press *6 and then 1, I spent last week in Dallas with the entire Exit Real, well, not the entire, but a large chunk of Exit Realty. And I was really encouraged to meet people that I'd never met that have been our customers for months. And these are agents who see it, most of them are brokers, regional owners, like they're heavily invested in their business and they paid a lot of money to be at this conference. And they've committed to our system over months and months and months. And I still have never met them, but it was really encouraging to have people come up to the booth and tell me stories about how easy this is and how much better it is than FSBO or Expired, or how their entire listing side is running off of this business. So excuse me, a lot of times we drag this into the negative territory and we talk about where you're going to get shut down and when someone calls you an ambulance chaser and this and that. But so often, especially at these shows, we meet people that just are lit up about this business because people are receiving them well and they're a respected service in their communities. And I wish people would bring that stuff back to these calls, but it just hasn't. That's just not how it shook out for us. A lot of times these calls this is where we do the work. Like not that many people show up to share, well, this is exactly the script I used to get that $3 million listing, unfortunately. But anyways, it was encouraging to meet some folks and hear that this is going so well in their business. And I know a lot of us can get down if we don't see results in the first month. But this does work if you're diligent and you're coming from the right place and you feel good and if you're doing the right things for the right reasons.
Well said, Chad. We have 2 people in the queue. I just wanted to share that the most common fear I hear from agents is you're going to be called an ambulance chaser. And I have to tell you, I tested this for 4 months. It never happened to me once. And even our most prolific prospectors tell us, maybe 1 in 100 or 1 in 200 calls. If you come from that sense of contribution, you're reaching out, you're helping somebody at a difficult time. The person you're calling is probably, the oldest or the most trusted kid that got put in charge. They're 1,000 miles away. They got a life of their own. They got a sibling or 2 that are looking at them to get this done. They tend to be the most appreciative, cooperative, easy to deal with people you're ever going to run into. So, come with that expectation, and that'll be your result. And when you do run into a difficult one, come on these calls and share it with us. And also, like Chad said, please share your wins with us also. We do have 2 people in the queue, so thank you for you guys being willing to participate. Let's go to the first one. Phone number ending in 9945. You're up first. Hello, or maybe for some reason it looks like it muted out 4334. Is that you? Whoever? Yeah. You were second, but it took you first. You must have pull with the phone company or something. I don't know how that happened. I apologize to 9945. You're going to be up next. So go ahead. You're up, sir.
I'm happy to let them go first if they want. I'm actually brand new. I just signed up yesterday afternoon, and so I've yet to dive into this. I just wanted to hear, I guess, just some very intro general type role play. What your actual
Sure.
script is to open up a dialogue with someone, because I've never made a probate
Sure.
call before, but yeah, I mean, if no one's diving in with questions, I just would like to hear. I guess just the basics.
Good place to start is at the beginning. And what's your first name?
Oh, this is Adam Kuchak. I'm down in Temecula, Southern California.
Hey, Adam. Yep. Yes, sir. Go ahead, Chad.
Adam, have you been able to log in and watch the fast track training yet?
Yeah, I think actually you and me are set up for a 10:30 call this morning, right? But should we bump that back?
That's probably Tom, our partner.
Tom. Oh, okay. I don't know all the players yet, but yes, I did watch the intro videos yesterday.
Okay. So after video 3, you saw the probate seller interview sheet that you probably downloaded.
I did not download that. No, I watched through the videos. I haven't seen the actual extra stuff yet.
Okay. Well, at the end of video 3, the downloads will pop up below it, and you can download what's called the probate seller interview sheet. And that's kind of the conversation framework. So rather than giving you scripts and telling you exactly what to say, there's so many different ways these conversations can go. We put you in a way better position. We give you a framework and some good, understanding what information you need and you form your own good questions to get that information. So if you can print that off or just save it and you can customize it, make it yours. But listen to some of the archived role play calls, and we'll definitely, hopefully you get a lot from today. But also on the left in subscriber portal, if you click on conference calls and then the blue button for access call archive, it's in a calendar format. So you can click the arrow back to the left and go back in time. There's 24 hours of role playing that we have, and then the mastermind calls also include really good information. So if you're trying to get the most out of this right now when you're just getting started, that's a really good way to do it. And if you, because you haven't been on the phones, I'm not sure. I mean, if you want to role play, I'll roll with you for sure.
No, I've actually listened to some other people more experienced. I just figured since no one's diving in, I'd like to throw that out there. I'm kind of a
we only have one other person in the queue, Chad. So why don't you just take them through, your initial, maybe just an average typical initial call. And Adam, you're just going to have to put yourself in the mindset of someone who, just got appointed the executive of the state, and just react however you think you might react. You don't have to hit them with a lot of objections or anything, but just be natural. And we'll take you through a basic role play. Okay, go ahead.
Ring, ring.
All right. Hello.
Hi, I'm trying to reach Adam.
Yep, this is Adam.
Hey, Adam, my name's Chad, and the reason I'm calling, I've got a team here locally that help families who are going through probate. And as part of that, we actually go to the courthouse and pull records. And we noticed that you're the executor of an estate. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Well, what we do is a pretty broad scope of the ways we can help. It really starts with us understanding your goals and then kind of making some suggestions. And that could range from getting the home cleaned out and ready for sale, if that's of interest, to getting it sold in a week, to getting the most amount of money, all the way to even using our contractors to help you get a premium for the real estate. And we can also connect you with for with senior moving companies. I mean, CPAs. We can help you reinvest. It really just starts with us understanding kind of where you're at, and what your challenges are, and seeing how we can help. So what's been the toughest thing for you guys so far? Is there one thing that you could really use a hand with right now?
Sure. I guess at this point we just don't really know where to start. It's just kind of happened out of nowhere.
Yep. Totally understandable. I mean, that's honestly where most of these conversations start, and why we reach out so early, because what's completely overwhelming to you guys is what we specialize in and do every day. So for us, it's kind of, okay, well, here we can just pull this person, and this person in, and it's all done. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. Well, most families hold about 80% of their wealth in real estate, and a lot of times our clients have to sell to be able to move forward in the probate process. Is there real estate in the estate, and do you guys have a plan for that yet?
Like I said, no plans. It's just something that kind of came out of the blue. So not really ready to think about real estate at this point. But
okay.
Yeah,
so is there real estate in the estate?
Yes, we've got one property in XYZ
Okay.
Main Street.
Now, is it currently vacant or is it occupied?
Yeah, it's vacant right now.
Okay. And so one of the reasons I ask is what most people don't know is you have about a 30-day window before your insurance will no longer cover that property. So one of the things that we do early in the process is help people understand what they need to do, because you oftentimes, because of the stress, you expose yourself to risk you're not even aware of. So if you want, we can start by just simply connecting you with our vacant policy agent who can get a vacant policy on the home, so that way it's covered throughout the probate process, however long it takes. Would that be helpful?
Okay, that's a interesting fun fact. So you're saying typically insurance will only cover me for a month, and then the house has no coverage
Typically if a home is right, if it's vacant for more than 30 days, usually that a regular homeowner policy won't cover it beyond that 30-day vacancy. And unfortunately, most people won't ever find that out unless something happens, and the asset can be a total loss. And it's just, I mean, that's just one example of the many things that kind of, we see day in and day out that most of our clients, when we first speak to them, have never even thought of. And the probate attorney is not going to tell you that. I mean, that's outside of the scope of his service. So we kind of fill the gap between what your attorney is doing and what they expect you to do. And we try to step in with our knowledge and our team and absorb a lot of that stress and responsibility, if that makes sense.
Okay. Well, doesn't the attorney recommend a real estate agent for me?
Typically they don't. If you talk to, a lot of the probate attorneys understand what we do. If they do recommend one, it would probably be us. But what we find is most attorneys don't, they kind of see that as a liability. They'll give you a list of 2 or 3 agents, and you can stumble through those.
Okay.
Again, how many real estate agents have called you and offered to educate you on the process and walk you through it and make your life easier today?
Yeah, no, you'd be the first.
Yeah. So we understand the situation. We understand the stresses. We have a team built of professionals that can handle pretty much anything you could need help with. We have covered with other families before. And as I said, we can offer the most help if we can understand your situation. So we try to meet with folks on Fridays and Mondays. I have one appointment on Friday at 3. If you guys would want to sit down and just chat about it. I'm not going to push you. I understand that you're going to move. You got to move at your own pace, and you might not be ready to do anything right now, and that's fine. But the sooner we can get involved, the more value we can probably bring to you. So would Friday at 3 work?
Yeah, that should be fine.
All right, perfect. And I'll break script there. So what I'm going to do from here is I would lead you down I would say, real quick, before you go, can I ask you a few questions about the house? And then we would have a real estate conversation.
Okay.
But you objected, you locked up, and then I backed off, and we had a little conversation, and I came right back in with value, and I opened you up by showing you something that you hadn't thought about. And that was good job too, by the way, man. Like that's a very realistic conversation.
Okay. And Chad, do you want to take that? Let's say that he's one of the many people that is an absentee owner. How would you end that differently? If he said, "Yeah, I'd like to meet with you, but I'm 1,000 miles away," how would you proceed from there?
Well, let's just roll into it then. So,
okay.
Adam, would Friday at 3 be a good time to meet?
I would, but I'm currently in Texas right now, and the property's in California, so it's not something I can do.
Okay. Let me ask you this: is there a caretaker or somebody locally that could let me in to take a look at the property?
Yeah, I might be able to get one of the neighbors to let you in if I can arrange that.
Okay. Well, what we typically do in this situation, and it's trust me, we've helped a lot of families from out of town. Unfortunately, we've never even met them. But hopefully someday we can. But we usually try to get a look at the property so we can understand what the challenges are with the personal property, if there is any, and how we can help you deal with that, but also the condition of the home, and we can give you suggestions on how we can get it sold quicker and for more money, or get it leased, whatever your ultimate goal is. It helps us to actually see what we're dealing with. So if you can connect me with them, I'll go by on Thursday and take a look, and then on Friday at 3, I'll actually set out Are you the only decision maker? Are there co-executors? Who do you feel like should be part of the decisions?
Oh, right now it's just me.
Okay. So what I'll do, have you ever used GoToWebinar or GoToMeeting?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll set up a GoToMeeting. So we'll share my screen, and what you can see exactly what I see, and we'll kind of go through this just the same way we would if we were sitting there at the kitchen table. Does that sound good?
Okay. Okay. Hey, real quick, just to break scripts,
Right.
I want to run back to the initial intro. So you, so I get kind of the base of the script, like you want to introduce yourself, how you got their information, and the reason for the call, all that stuff. But so you're saying that, hi, I'm XYZ with, ABC Real Estate Company. I have a team that goes into the courthouse to research probates. And can you just run that quick script by me one more time? It's fresh in my brain.
Yeah. So, and you'll hear these main points in that third video of Fast Track. So what I learned really quickly is everyone wants to know who the hell you are, why the hell you're calling,
Yeah.
and what the hell you can do for them, and how the hell you got their information.
Yeah.
So I learned to address that on the front, and when I did that, that really opened these conversations up. So you'll hear me talk about the probate USP, or your unique selling proposition, and the third video. So those are the points I want to establish. Now, notice I didn't label myself as a realtor, as an investor. I said my name's Chad. I'm a local probate expert. We have a team of people here locally that help families in probate. That makes a big difference if you're in a super competitive market, because they've probably gotten a ton of mail from investors. They probably have a perception of what a realtor does. We put signs in yards to steal money so we can drive Lexus, right? That's what we do. We're realtors. So if you don't want that perception, if you want a different perception, you need a different label. And I would encourage everybody on this call to think about how you introduce yourself to somebody, a complete cold introduction. Because it's true. People think realtors just steal money and drive nice cars. And we work our ass off, and no one ever sees that. So careful how you label yourself, because you might lump yourself into a category and they'll just assume they don't need your help because they know what you do. You steal money, right? Yeah. So I'll jump back into it. So, well, hi, my name's Chad. We have a team here locally that helps families who are going through the probate process. And as part of that, we actually go to the courthouse to get, to gather data so we can proactively reach out, because we know we can make a big difference if we start early in the process. So I've told you, kind of who I am, how I got your information. And then I ran long. I've probably never done the same USP twice, but you can layer in some of the things that you can do. And sometimes that means just getting a family member moved out into suitable housing. Sometimes it means getting homes fixed up and sold. Even if there's not real estate, sometimes it means helping set up college savings plans for future generations. It really starts with us understanding what the family's situation and goals are, and then we can provide some options. And honestly, we reach out early because most people are so stressed they don't know where to start. What's been the toughest thing for you guys so far? So even if you try to interrupt me, I'm going to blow through that. You're going to hear what I have to say. And in some cultures and some markets, you have to do that. You have to punch through. But I'm going to tell you some of the things that we do. And I'll tell you, depending on the tone of the conversation, I can change my tone and change which examples I'll bring up. But I'm always going to end with an emotional, open-ended question. So the reason we do that is because most people find themselves in this stressful situation where they don't know what to do first. I'm painting a picture. What's been the toughest thing for you so far? And it's pretty hard for them not to engage in that conversation when you ask a question like that.
And Chad, I was just going to add, obviously, everybody on this call is not actually going to the courthouse. So, just phrase it slightly different. We have a team of people that goes to the courthouse for us and gets the information. If you don't feel comfortable.
You guys are, it's my opinion, you guys are contracting with us to go to the courthouse. So we're part of your team.
Okay.
You didn't say, you're not saying my assistant went down and got your name, but we went to the courthouse and we go to the courthouse and gather information. And I think you should not hesitate to say that, because you're paying good money to contract with a professional company to do that on your behalf.
Okay, sure. Excellent. One other thing, Chad, we have one other person in the queue, but this is really good. It's really basic, but I think it's going to be good for a lot of people. If you would just take one other variation, if he had a sister and a brother that were also involved in the decision process, you have a really good way of handling that. So if you would just, Adam, tell him that, yeah, you got two siblings that are also kind of involved, but you're the one that's making the decision.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Right.
Go ahead.
Adam, let me ask: Are you the only executor, or who do you feel like should be part of these conversations?
No, I've got two brothers that are also going to inherit part of this property.
Okay. And are they in California, Texas, or somewhere else?
They're in Texas.
Okay. So would you guys be together if we were to have a conversation, or would I need to kind of set up a conference call where we can all get on the same page? Are you in the same town?
Yeah, we're about 30 minutes away, so we can be flexible about it.
Okay. Well, a couple different options. I mean, have you ever used GoToMeeting?
Yes, familiar with that.
Okay. And are your brothers tech savvy? Do they have email addresses and laptops?
I think they're tech savvy enough to handle that.
Okay. Well, I always have a backup plan. So I can set up a GoToMeeting where we can all kind of be literally on the same page.
Technologically stunted. They don't use computers, so what's the plan B?
Well, fair enough. So, well, listen, we can do, GoToMeeting and all be literally on the same page. If they're not that tech savvy, what I'll do, do they use email?
Yes, they use email.
Okay. So I'll grab their emails from you, and what I'll do is I'll go over and take a look at the property, and once on Thursday, so on Friday at 3:00, probably before noon, I'll email you guys a package of kind of everything we're going to discuss. And it'll include information on real estate and anything else that we talk about that we feel like we can help you with. But anything that you and I will look at, they'll also have access to, and we'll email it. If something happens, we can even drop it in the mail and wait a day or two if we need to push the appointment to Monday. Does that sound good?
That sounds good. What kind of information's in the packet?
It really kind of depends on what I see, the ways I can help you. I mean, most families, I'm assuming that you guys probably could use some help valuing the real estate, making sure you're not leaving money on the table. That's one of the things that we do that for almost every one of our clients, whether they plan to sell or rent or leave it in the family. It's good to know what the assets are worth, especially if you haven't been in the market for a while. So that's one of the things we'll do. We'll do what we call a market absorption analysis that kind of gives you a 360-degree view. We're also going to have, depending on your personal property situation, and I haven't asked you that, but is there personal property in the house, and do you have a plan for it?
Well, yeah, he's got all his furniture and his clothes and stuff, and as of right now, no, we haven't thought that far. Okay.
So one of the things we do on Thursday, we're going to take a look and see, what's in there and who on our team will be best to deal with it. Sometimes we have estate sales. Sometimes it's an auction. Sometimes it's tag sale. Sometimes it's just getting charities in there to take as much as we can and then getting it cleaned out. So we'll, part of that could be part of the package. So it's really, like I said, once we understand your situation, we'll kind of pull it all together. And there's no set package that I sit down with everybody, because to me, each of these is a unique situation, and that's how we approach it. We try not to guess about your situation. I'm going to rely on you being open with me and trusting me, and then I'll let you know what I can do for you. Does that make sense?
Fair enough.
Excellent. Well, for not having much to say, you did a good job for the last half hour. The only other thing I was going to add, Chad, I know Adam, if you had resisted and said, no, I'm the decision maker, Chad would have pushed you a little bit harder that, it's really important that we're all on the same page, and, we don't want to get into this, and, and maybe just 30 seconds of that, maybe give them your standard answer there, Chad, because that does happen a lot of time. Yeah.
We're at 12:30, so Adam, I'll come at you again. We'll back up in the conversation. So,
sure, no
Adam,
problem.
tell me, are you the only executor, or who do you feel like should be part of these conversations?
No, right now I'm the only executor on the property.
Okay. And do you have siblings or family or anyone that you'd like to include in the conversations?
No, I'm the one who's going to be making decisions on this.
Okay. So Jim Jim set you up to, like, if you tell me you have brothers and you're going to be the decision maker, that's where we wanted to go with this. So I'm going to assume you just
Okay.
said that.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
So I got a couple brothers. I got a couple brothers, but I'm the one that's going to make the decisions here.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. No, we remember that. So we have two brothers, but I'm in charge. They're not allowed to make decisions about this property.
Okay. I understand. And if you don't mind my asking, I mean, we deal with a lot of different families. Is everybody getting along and everybody kind of shares a common goal and vision for what you're tasked with here?
For the most part, yeah. I've got two younger brothers, and they typically defer to me. That's why I'm the executor.
Okay. And
but
they
no,
are part of the
family drama or anything. What's that?
They are part of the estate though, right? That they will be part of the distribution when you're finished.
Yes, when we eventually sell the property, they will get some of the proceeds.
Okay. So it's ultimately your call, but here's my suggestion. Having worked with a lot of families, I think we should include them in the conversation, because what we don't want to do is make them feel like you left money on the table or left them out. I find that you're in enough stress right now. You're in a very stressful situation. One of the hardest things we can go through as humans. Adding sibling rivalry to that is not going to help me or you. So if it's okay, if they can give 30 minutes just to sit and talk with us when we first talk, they don't have to be part of the whole process. But I do find it's very helpful for both you and I if we can meet together the first time. So do you think they could we get them to spend a half an hour with us on Friday at 3 o'clock?
If they want to join in on it, at least give them the opportunity.
Okay. Well, fair enough. So I'm going to go look at the house on Thursday. If you can talk to them and let me know by end of business Thursday that they're on board for our meeting, I would feel a lot better about it for your sake more than mine. I've seen where animosity can creep into a situation, and it doesn't help at all. So I think let's make them feel included from the beginning, and they don't want to be tasked with what you are. I mean, nobody wants to be in the position you're in. So, but I do think that at least in that first conversation, we can make this a lot smoother if we just include them.
All right, perfect.
That makes sense.
So
Adam,
point,
thank you.
Good point,
thank
Jim.
you.
And
Yep.
Adam, the reason Jim brought that up, if you leave people out and listen to how I asked the question, who do you feel like should be part of these conversations? So I'm giving you permission to bring in your spouse, your new girlfriends, like whoever it might be that might have social leverage on you. I want them there, and I want them to be part of the conversation, because if they've already spent the money in their head and we have to call an audible and sell the property for less than they thought it was worth because of condition or situation, then you and I may as well be the devil, because we just stole money from the family or the spouse or whoever it is. So from the very beginning, try to be as transparent as you can and make everyone feel included. And I've actually watched this happen. I've had this work in my favor, and I've had it completely blow up deals for me. And the first time I ever tried this lady insisted that her brother and two sisters not show up, and it was a $25,000 house, and we sold it in a day to one of our cash buyers. But they thought the house went. Sure enough, I insisted, and I'm like, I'm not coming to meet with you. They called. It was basically a come list me call, and I'm like, I won't come until we can all be there. And the brother wasn't the sharpest knife in the drawer, and the two sisters were very distrusting of me and their other sister. And the energy was so bad in the room.
I might be losing.
Jim, can you hear me?
I think he said he's losing this. He's going into a bad cell area.
Well, I'll go ahead and finish. But what happened in that room was like, I was so glad that I got them all there, because what I found out when I had the expectation conversation was the two sisters that I hadn't spoke to, the brother didn't have an opinion. He didn't care. The lady who called me, the executrix, she trusted me, in my opinion. The other two thought the house was worth $75,000, and it was. I mean, investor price $25,000 was where it should have been priced, and we could have listed it and let it sit there for a year. But had those two sisters not been there to agree that they were okay with that price, I would have had trouble with that. We would have, the ones that, the other sister would probably be the one that had trouble, because the other two sisters weren't the most civil people in the world. The one that called me was very professional, put together. So it would have made her life a lot harder had I not been there with everybody and they all heard it from the same source. They would have thought she was stealing. And that was just the first one that I did the right way. That's why it sticks out in my mind. And from then on, I'm like, never again. I get all the decision makers either on the phone or in person, at least for the first conversation.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Adam. We have two more in the queue, and we want to get to them, but that was a great basic role play. You did a great job, and go get them. Come back on the Thursday calls and share your success with us. I appreciate you participating. Take care.
Yeah.
Next up, I thought you were first up. I think 9945 is up next. Are you there?
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay. Thank you for your patience. You waited a half hour. Fire away. What would you like to role play with Chad?
Yes, I have this introduction that I've been using throughout my phone calls, and I just wanted to share that with you guys to see if there is anything I can improve on. So I just want to go straight into it.
Sure. So you call Chad, and call Chad, and you be the agent, and he'll be the seller.
Yep, sounds good.
Okay.
All right.
Ring.
Hello.
Hi. Good afternoon. My name is Jeremy with Stein Posner Real Estate. May I speak with Chad?
This is Chad.
Hi, Chad. The reason for my call is you've been assigned as the personal representative for the estate of John Smith, so I just wanted to reach out to you to extend our condolence and to also find out if there's any real estate within the estate that needs to be sold.
So let me break script. Tell me what your reception has been so far using that.
I mean, thus far I've been getting a few people that are either they say no, and then I ask them another question. So just to make sure that I'm hearing you clearly, so the property that's in, for example, Boca Raton, are you planning to keep that? And most of them would tell me the property is a rental, they don't own it, or they're planning to use it as a second home, and just those two options, and no, just we're not selling the property.
And what's their tone when they're telling you that? Does it feel
they're not aggressive, just no, like as in we're not selling the property, we're keeping it, thank you. And that's it.
Okay. This is, I'll preface this with saying it's my personal opinion based on my personal values.
Mm-hmm.
I never offer condolences to somebody I don't know, because personally, it would piss me off if you called me and said that.
Okay.
Especially if I'm in pain and I don't need somebody that doesn't know me telling me that and then going straight for the real estate artery. What I would encourage you to try is step back a little bit and take a little less empathy. Don't get to the real estate so early.
Okay.
And I would, this is a business call, and they mean business because they went to the probate clerk and they raised the signal flare to the public. We're ready to deal with this. That's what the filing of probate is. So they're initiating. It's kind of them saying, okay, world, we know we need to move on. Let's deal with this. And they have to put notice in the newspaper and everything. So that, whether they're looking at it as a business, dealing or not, it kind of is. They have to deal with the business of settling an estate. So for me, it's a business to business thing. Now I'm going to offer a very high level of personal service and a lot of empathy, but I'm not going to offer condolences to somebody I had never met and really had no relationship with. So I would encourage you to make it a little less personal, unless you know the person, and make it a little more professional. And maybe wait until you get them to engage with you in the conversation a little bit more to go, are you going to sell that real estate?
And Chad, I've shared before that for me, I started out with "I'm sorry for your loss," and I had a guy say, "Don't be." Dying was the best thing that SOB ever did. So, and then I kind of learned. I changed it a little bit more to, instead of "I'm sorry for your loss," just if you feel the need to acknowledge their loss or have some empathy, just say, you can say something more like, I'm sure this is a difficult time for the family, which it probably is. If you know, that kind of acknowledges, you know, it's a tough time for you, and I understand that, but it's usually comes across as being more sincere than I'm sorry for, you know, your loss or condolences, because like Chad said, you didn't know him.
Right.
So, but you know, and there's nothing wrong with having empathy for sure. That's a good thing.
No, if you don't have empathy, you'll fall on your ass in this business. Like you have to be empathetic. But what I'm saying is, it's you know, just think about how you say, you know, how you show that. And like we did in the early role play, you know, and you can always let them know that you can validate their feelings and the stress. And you know, one of the things I said in the role play earlier was one of the reasons we reach out so early is we realize most people just don't know where to start. They're in a really stressful situation, and we understand that. We understand it's a hard time for the family and especially for you. So we just try to reach out, understand the situation, and see how we might be able to help. And then if you noticed back in that last role play, I waited until I got him talking, and then I said, well, statistically, I think I said most of the families that we work with have about 80% of the wealth in the real estate. Is there any real estate in the estate, and do you guys have a plan for that? And what you might find, and maybe they are renting them, maybe they're not selling them. What you might find is you switched them off in the beginning. They're really nice people because you're in that part of the world, and they're bullshitting you. They're not telling you. What they're not telling you is, I don't trust you. You've crossed the line, so I'm going to lie to you to get you off the phone. What you might find is if you approach this differently and get them to open up and then head into the real estate conversation, just like I did in the first role play, you might find that by saying, oh, well, did you know the home's not insured? That might build trust and be like, oh, okay, well, this guy's actually trying to help me. And they may open up to you and tell you the truth that, well, we thought about renting that, we talked about it, but we really don't know what that looks like. Oh, okay, well, let's look. That's one of the things we can prepare. We can, you know, do a rental analysis and introduce you to our property management division. But alternatively, we can tell you what the home is worth if you decided to sell it. When would be a good time to go over those two options? And the conversation might just roll into something like that. So, anyways, if you're not getting the result you want, don't ever be afraid to change your language, and kind of play with that. But
yeah, of course, it's completely different, and I guess I failed to clarify exactly when I said that it's rented, meaning that the deceased, they didn't actually own the property. It's a property that they were just renting out. And another question is, we do have a few people that, you know, we do get into conversation with, and they ask us to, like, follow up with them in a month or so. And is there anything we could do in between to, like, you know, establish that relationship so that way when I do call in a month, they're not like, hey, who are you again?
So that, why don't we role play that? Tell Chad it's good. Call back in a month. Go ahead, Chad.
Yeah, where that usually comes up is when I ask for the appointment. So we just talked about all the things I can do, and you told me a little bit about your situation. So, well, listen, it sounds like we could really help you guys. We try to meet with folks on Fridays and Mondays. I've got one spot this Friday at 3 o'clock. Would that be a good time to sit down and chat?
Yeah, I guess so.
No, tell him a month.
Well, that was easy.
Oh, okay. I kind of got into a different.
Damn, Chad, you're good, Chad. All you got to do is ask.
I know, man.
I reconsidered the month.
Tell him a month. That was funny. Trying to get
Friday
Chad.
Would be a good time for us to sit down and talk about this?
Actually, we don't know what we really want to do right now. Just give us a call in a month or so.
Okay. I understand. So that's how, you know, most of our clients that we work with kind of feel the same way. You're a little bit overwhelmed. You don't know where to start. That's actually the reason I'm calling so early, because I've seen what we can do to really help the situations and help people make better decisions, and frankly make more money for the estate with less work. So that's why we try to meet with folks early. I can certainly meet with you in a month, but I'll tell you that you're probably you're going to be working your butt off when I could be doing a lot of that for you, most likely. So if we could show you a way to just take 30 minutes and sit down and kind of assess the situation, and then connect you with people that can really, really make this a lot easier for you. Do you still want to wait a month, or is it just that you're uncomfortable right now?
Just to be honest with you, it's very stressful. So, I mean, we can consider meeting with you. Will it only take 30 minutes, or do you plan on going into a whole presentation and try to get me to sign a listing agreement? What's going on? What will take place?
All right, so I want to back up here, and I'm still in role play, but I want you to understand. I'm a licensed real estate agent, but I'm also the person who built a team of people here locally to do a lot more than list houses. So I'm not going to put a sign in your yard and steal your money. We're going to come over. We're going to look at your overall situation, and if selling the real estate is part of that, then we'll have that conversation. It might not be part of it. What we're going to look at is how we can help you guys right now. I'm not a pushy salesperson. I do believe that meeting with me is in your best interest because I've done a lot of this for a lot of families, and I think that there's ways that I can help you that you frankly don't see right now because of your situation. So you can control how long the appointment is. I'll be there. I'll give you as much as I can possibly give. I just know that we're better off if we meet now than if we meet in a month because I know there's things I can help you with.
All right, I do appreciate that, and I guess we can meet up. You said Friday at what time?
3 o'clock, if that works.
3 o'clock. We'll see you Friday at 3 o'clock.
All right. Thank you so much, and I look forward to meeting you.
Listed.
And then
Listed and sold.
I'll warm the conversation back up right there. So I'm going to say real quick before I go, let me ask you a couple of questions, and then I'll lighten the conversation and I'll throw in a few jokes.
Mm-hmm.
The reason, and I got stern there, and for good reason. I believe that I'll say this: use your discretion. If you feel like it's in their best interest to meet with you, and you don't set an appointment, you've done them a disservice. So very seldom have I seen a situation where it's not in their best interest to go ahead and explore their options and get help. Like to sit there and be lost in this yourself for another month, waiting on the probate attorney to return a phone call to say, oh, well, we don't do that. Call a real estate agent. Like, how's that in their best interest? They're wasting time. They've got a house that might not have insurance on it, that they're paying for lawn care, that's full of personal property. The sooner you can get over there and really kind of embrace them and say, listen, we got this. We've got an estate sale company that can do all this work for you. We've got our lawn care company that we can, just put them on auto pay and they can take care of the property. The grounds will be done every Thursday at 9 o'clock. Like, you can do all those things and take a month of that away from them by just applying a little bit of pressure when it's in their best interest in that initial conversation. If they're just grief-stricken and absolutely can't be part of the conversation, one, they probably wouldn't have filed probate if they were still in that situation. And two, they probably wouldn't have responded to your marketing. So as soon as they engage, if they engage at any level, I try to get in front of them with some kind of value as quick as I can. And once you do, and they realize what kind of person you are and professional you are, you're the only damn real estate agent in the world as far as they're concerned. So I push everybody to get a listing, and I absolutely would take the listing agreement on that appointment, even though you said that to me and I said what I did to you, because I think you're going to see so much value in what I can do, and I'll give you reasons that we should list the home. If I think it's in your best interest, we should go ahead and put a plan together and target dates and get it listed. The listing agreement will be there with me. And then I'm going to crack a joke and throw it back in your face that you said that to me on the phone, and the rest of the family is going to laugh at you, and we're going to shake hands, and we'll have a great transaction. But I would still go with the intent that I'm going to meet with you. I'm going to flood you with value. I'm going to list this house, and you're going to be glad that I did.
Good
all right,
stuff. I love it. Yeah, big time. All
right. Awesome. Thank you so much. We have one more person in the queue and be perfect timing. So I'm going to go to phone number ending in 6089. I think you're going to be last up this week. You're up, 6089. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Hello.
Hey, yes, sir. Go ahead. We can hear you.
Hey, so I want to play kind of, I know you guys said that there was you don't really get too many people getting calls like ambulance chaser and stuff like that, but
sure.
I want to play you one of the voicemails that I got from one of my, from one of the first few calls I had. It kind of like threw me off, and then maybe we can role play it. Are you cool with that?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Chad, do you want him to play it or just paraphrase it for you? Either one is fine.
I'd like
Okay,
to
go
play
ahead.
it just because it kind of like it threw my whole game off really in it.
Okay, go ahead.
Hold on 1 second.
If you could do it easily.
Area code 631-981-3081. I did not appreciate the phone message I received today. Kindly remove my number and do not ever call it again. Yes, I received a letter regarding my deceased parents' home at 12244 Deep Creek Drive in Spring Hill. The house is already sold, closed, gone. I have nothing to do with it, and I don't appreciate you hassling people over their deceased parents' homes. You're like an ambulance chaser. Don't mail me anything again. Do not call me again.
So, Chad, you'd call right back, and you'd call right back. Just kidding.
Yeah, I want to mail
funny.
her again.
But just say now. Are you sure? Sure?
I would call her husband and offer condolences to him. I'm
Good
so
point.
sorry for your life.
I'm glad I didn't answer that call.
So here's the deal, man.
Go ahead.
Truth be told, listen to the tone of her voice and the hatred she's spewing at somebody she doesn't know. You took it personally, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
Have you ever met her?
Nope, never met her. Nope.
Why the hell would you take it personally? She doesn't have enough information on you to actually hate you.
That's true.
She hates the idea that she's formed in your head about what you're doing. So she formed this perception of her own, and then pointed that anger and that hurt, and who the hell knows what's going on in their life, but she pointed it back at the only thing she had, a phone number, right?
Right.
So you got two options. You can take it personally and think that there's a person out there that thinks you're just rotten, or you can take a deep breath and go, wow, I really hope she has a better day tomorrow, because I know I'm doing the right damn things for the right damn reasons, and most people are better off hearing from me than not hearing from me, because I know I can help. So,
and I was going to share.
Which of the two are you going to, like, option A or B?
Yeah, and I was just going to go ahead. B's better. Good decision. Well, I was going to share with you too. We've heard probably over the last 5 years, we've heard maybe 10 or 12 of messages like that. And what's kind of interesting, it often happens to people on their first or second call, and then after Chad talks them down off the ledge, we'll talk to him a year later, and it never happened again. So it kind of sounds like you just got your really hateful person out of the way up front. You know, I think the likelihood of you getting a call like that is really small. Go ahead, Chad.
It has nothing to do with you or your business or probate. There are just these kind of people in the world. I told a story. I think I told it on this call somewhere in the last couple of weeks. I actually had a guy, the reason I set up my business address of a post office box or a UPS box was for this. I kind of thought this might happen someday, but I pulled a list of homes with high equity that hadn't transferred in the last 9 years, and I sent a We Buy Houses letter. I get a phone call one morning at about 11 o'clock, and it's a guy on the phone that says, "Where the hell are you? I'm at your office. I'm going to whip your ass." I'm like, "Excuse me?" He literally had driven to the UPS store to whip my ass, and he was pissed off because he found out it was a UPS store. And the guy was livid. And this was just a list of homes with high equity that hadn't transferred in 9 years. Nobody died. The house wasn't vacant. It just rubbed him the wrong way. He was just, he was having a bad day. I actually turned the conversation around and turned the guy into a damn cash buyer and put him on my cash buyer list and sold foreclosure houses to him after that. But he had formed this perception of what I was trying to do, and he got himself so worked up. And I hit him as hard as he hit me in the beginning, and then I backed it down to a normal conversation, turned him into a buyer, and we're fine now. But don't take this stuff personally. You're gonna find miserable people in this life. It doesn't matter if you're prospecting FSBO or probate or high equity. You're gonna uncover these people. If it's still sticking to you, the thing that I did, I got hit once, and it was by a fellow realtor, and I immediately sat down, because I'm that, like, stuff like that sticks to me too. I'm an ENFP personality type. I hate to disappoint. So I had to sit down to clear my conscience. I sat down and I wrote a letter and said, here's what I'd actually do, and here's why I do it, and here's why that's a service to the community. And I sent it to her. She responded back and thanked me for the service I was providing in the community after giving me this scathing email. And so if it's still sticking to you, if you get hit like this, what I would encourage you to do is sit down, write them a handwritten note, put a stamp on it, and send it to them. And just say, listen, you completely misunderstood my purpose. Here's what I do, and here's why I do it, and here's why I'm proud of it. And thank you for your call. It really reinforced for me the reasons I'm doing this, and the fact that I'm reaching out to help people, and something like that. But if you need to get it off your chest, sit down and write her ass a letter and send it. You never know what'll happen.
Okay.
All right, and call us in a year and tell us you never had that happen again, please. That would be my prediction. I think it's you just got your nasty person out of the way up front. It really, the vast majority. Yeah, in all the months I did it,
I got to get Probate Mastery is coming in 5 minutes, so I'm going to jump. Thank everybody for participating today, and Jim, I'll let you close it up.
Yep. Thank you, one and all. I just wanted to remind you, really appreciate the 3 people that participated. Appreciate everybody that showed up today. Please come to our mastermind call in 23 hours from now at 1 o'clock Eastern tomorrow afternoon, same phone number, and that's more of an open forum. And I always like to close these calls by challenging everyone. Great role plays today, great thoughts, great ideas. Take one thing you learned today, go out and put it into practice, and come back next week and share it with the group. Thank you so much, guys. Make it a great week, and we'll talk to you tomorrow at 1 o'clock on the mastermind call. Have a great week. We'll talk to you soon. Take